In other news, we got Canelo Sergey Derevyanchenko, which may actually be happening. So Sergey Derevyanchenko is the mandatory challenger for the IBF title, which is the title that Canelo just won from Daniel Jacobs in his last fight. Now, initially, it did not seem as though Canelo and his team were overly enthused about taking on Derevyanchenko. Now, Canelo would almost certainly he's 100% going to be favored to beat him, but I think everybody knows in the boxing world that Derevyanchenko is no walk in the park. He's also not a major name, so this represents a high risk, low reward type of a situation. So traditionally, this is not something that Canelo or a fighter of his star level would really be wanting to take on, especially when there are potentially bigger paydays out there on the horizon, like a Triple G trilogy, like some sort of fight with Sergey Kovalev at 175, or even a fight at 168 against Callum Smith. And if you subscribe to this channel and you've watched some of the videos we put up there, I don't think Callum Smith is a good matchup for Canelo at all. So, but there have been some recent reports out there that are saying that Canelo and his team may be warming up to this fight with Derevyanchenko. And so we'll see what happens. A lot of this, here's something that everybody needs to understand. A lot of this is based on the zone accepting the opponent. So Golden Boy and Canelo can pitch any opponent that they want. They can talk about fighting this guy, that guy. I happen to know for a fact that Canelo's team tried to float, and Golden Boy tried to float the Jaime Munguia concept out, but the zone would not accept it. So the zone has major sway in this situation. And if they are trying to, bring in an opponent that the network or the streaming service is not going to accept, then that fight's not going to happen. So the Derevyanchenko thing, we'll find out what the final verdict is there. I wouldn't be surprised to see it happen sometime later in the fall. The Kovalev fight's not going to happen. They're pretty much locked in to Anthony Yarde for August 24th. So that's not going to happen. I believe Callum Smith is probably going to go against Billy Joe Saunders, which is a pretty interesting fight. So we'll see how that goes as well. But yeah, it's going to be, I think, an interesting last half of the year for Canelo. Also, don't sell short the potential knee injury. He's been having that knee wrapped up in fights, and I think that it may be a bit more serious than what is being led on. So we'll find out, what really is, what's the deal with that overall. So it's going to be interesting.